Howdy hey, how is everybody doing, and welcome back to Disney Daily. Pixar is known for being really innovative and creative with their storytelling, and the movie Inside Out is no different. In all honesty, I think Inside Out is one of the more profound films by Pixar besides the movie Soul. What I really like about Inside Out is that it explores human emotions in a fun and lighthearted way. Although the movie is technically about Riley, it more so focuses on the way emotions control us, how our memories are stored, and what makes a person who they are. Now, seeing joy as Riley's main emotion, I just assumed when watching the film for the first time that was how every person's brain worked in the movie, but I was very, very wrong. You see, halfway through the film, we get to see the insides of both Riley's parents' brains, and they look completely inconsistent to hers. Not only is the environment different, but the lead emotions are not the same. So this got me thinking about a new theory video, trying to explain why Riley and her parents' headquarters were so different from one another. Now, some of you may think there's no deeper meaning, but knowing Pixar, there is a reason for everything, and I want to know what they were trying to tell us without actually telling us. So without further ado, let's jump into my explanation for why I think Riley's parents' headquarters are so different. Let's first start with the most popular question on everyone's mind, which is, why did Riley's parents have a different emotion as the leader and chief operator of the brain? You see, Riley from the start of the movie has joy as the only emotion who really calls the shots and tries to manage everything that goes on inside the brain. Now, don't get me wrong, of course the other emotions take over from time to time, but it is only for a brief moment when they see themselves deemed necessary to the situation. For example, when young Riley was running recklessly throughout her house as a baby, almost tripping over various wires, fear stepped up and made sure to steer Riley clear of any potential harm and disaster. He saw his opportunity to help Riley, but after doing his due diligence, he stepped away from the controls and let joy resume as the lead in headquarters. But unlike Riley, who has joy as the main emotion, her parents seem to have a very different emotion in control of their brains. Let's take a closer look at Riley's mom first. Now, when we first get a look inside her head, we see that the emotion sadness is in control as opposed to joy. Now, I think there are a couple of plausible explanations for why that is. One reason I think sadness is in control is simply because that was the first emotion that her mom displayed and experienced when she was born. Just like how Riley's first emotion when she was a baby was joy, I think it's reasonable that whatever emotion the human experiences first will be the leader of headquarters no matter what stage of life they are in. I also think this could be relevant to her dad's case as well. The first emotion her father experienced as a baby was anger, so that is why that particular emotion is in charge in his mind. Now, another reason why I think her mom had sadness as the leader was possibly because of some serious trauma she experienced throughout her life. Now, I know the movie doesn't really dive into the parents' history or upbringing, but I think this was Pixar using symbolism to show that not every person has had the same life experiences and therefore could be seeing life and experiencing it very differently. Now, while those two theories are possible, I had another really great explanation that reflects one of the central themes to the movie, which is sadness is a vital part to life and our well-being. For context, we learn towards the end of the film when Joy looks back on Riley's memory of her missing the winning goal that it is because of sadness that the young girl was able to connect and feel closer to her friends and family. Joy learns that sadness is more important than we think, and it can be the thing that brings us all together. And I think that's why her mom's main emotion is sadness. Her mom has had enough life experience to know that it is because of the sad moments in life that we appreciate the joyful ones. So having sadness as her main emotion isn't because she is sad all the time. It is simply because she has a better understanding of why it is so important, and perhaps Riley's mind might look like that later on in life. Now, in regards to her dad having anger as a main emotion, as I said before, that could have been the first emotion he experienced, or perhaps the dad has become more stressed as the years have gone on, and now that is his main emotion in control. I mean, in the movie, he seems to always be dealing with work-related stress, so it's very plausible. Now, the next question I want to focus on is, why did Riley and her parents' control center look the way that it did? Now, this may be something you all probably never paid attention to, but honestly, I think it's a fair question to ask and could be telling us more about her parents. Let me first start with Riley's so you can understand the contrast. You will notice at a closer glance that it has bright colors, designs, and is an open concept. However, her mom's has dim lighting, no bright colors really, but most importantly, her memories are blocked off with a gigantic curtain. I interpreted this to mean that her mom is suppressing or hiding parts of her life, and I don't think that's far-fetched. I mean, that would go hand in hand with my explanation earlier about her having some trauma in her life that maybe she never quite dealt with. Riley's dad has an even more interesting layout, which is all dark colors and looks like a control tower at a military base with all its screens and control panels in the background. Her dad seems to be pretty occupied with his business, and this could be why headquarters looks so professional. His headquarters could also mean that he is more reserved and closed off due to the lack of color and warmth. Well, that concludes this episode of Disney Daily. Please let me know what you thought about Riley's parents' headquarters when you first saw the film down in the comments. As always, thanks for being my guest here at Disney Daily. Until next time.